big golfer too, and so is Ty. So we're like, all right, we're like a week before the game. Like, all right, what should we do? Because we've done something every year, and we let Luke. I at least let you. Luke usually pick, just because he's like the senior guy, and so he's like, all right, let's just do a golf celebration because we love golf, and it's so similar to kicking, so it's like everybody would get it.
I wasn't sure if I saw it in the Minnesota game. Are you guys changing or finding a different celebration, or did you do it and I just didn't notice it after your field goal?
Nah, we stopped doing it because, well, I mean, there's two different answers to this question. So one, there was one game where we did it like a little too late, and then somebody up in the box said, "Hey, we might get flagged for that." And then there was another, or Coach Wood says the lineman might feel left out, so we don't really do that anymore for them.
Can't let those linemen feel it.
Yeah.
So I asked LeVar last week what Drew's range was, and he said the logo, but he wasn't specific. What do you think your range is?
Well, I mean, the conditions of the game definitely matter, but like you want to go flat indoors. I mean, I've been pushing it. There's a lot. The thing is once you get to that logo, like there's the little things start mattering that much more. Like
A little breeze.
What kind of ball is it? What's the wind doing? Do I have adrenaline or not going? I mean, yeah. I don't know.
65, realistic.
I could get 65 there. It's just like, that's another thing people don't realize. Like, the thing that is like hard about those kicks is how straight it has to go. Like, when you get that far, the uprights are so small. Like the ball has to go so straight to go in. Like that's a factor that I feel like gets overlooked just because like, oh, you got a big enough leg to get it there. But yeah, I'm a bet on myself. I could definitely get that there.
End of the Iowa State game, did you run over to anybody and say, "Hey, I'm here"?
I mean, I don't really advocate too much. I mean, would I bet on myself in that situation? I would love to have seen me take a crack at it. But, I mean, I don't know. I tell them my lines pregame, and my line didn't go that far back. But I also wasn't planning on a desperation end of the game. Like, yeah.
LeVar was mentioning that you're reading more now.
I am reading more. I don't really like to read. It's one of those things where it's like, dang, like, God, I really don't want to do this, but it does help you. So, I mean, at some point, it's a business decision. And reading definitely does help me. Like, there's things I've figured out in my game that I read from books. So, yeah, I'm reading right now. Actually, I'm reading The Effective Executive right now. Yeah, it's how you like manage your time, right? Things like that.
What are some of the other books you've been reading?
Well, we read Golf's Sacred Journey, which is I did pick up. So I aim at the right up right now, and then I play like a draw because it's like it just makes it a lot easier to aim when you're sitting back there. And I learned that out of that book. It's like if you hit the kick one time, now you know that you can hit it. So it's not like out of reach or whatever. So and then there's another thing in that book that it was said, which I will say we have a guy named Baker who punted here a while ago, and he taught me something too. He recommended the book Effective Executive that I read, but he recommended something. If there is a board laying across the ground and he told you to run right across it, you would run right across it, right? Now let's say the stakes or the board's way up there. You got to run right across it. It's the same board, but you might struggle a little. You might wobble a little just because of the pressure. And that's a choice that you're making to think that way. And knowing that, you can adjust it. I feel a lot less like tense in the game, I'd say. Like, I don't know. I feel much more confident in my kicks.
LeVar was saying a page or two a day. Is he underestimating that at all?
It probably averages out to that. I'm not usually like a per day guy, but I'll do like a big chunk here and a big chunk there. So it probably does average out to that though. Probably.
I'm just curious about that special teams room, what you've seen in Reese so far, his development, kind of his growth, confidence, that kind of thing in his first year here.
I mean, he's definitely developing. I will say that. In terms of the technical side of things, he is figuring some things out. And I also think, like, it's perfectly normal and human to be like a little nervous in your first game. Like, you don't know what you're doing in your first game. No matter what you can tell, you don't know how a player is going to react and play until they actually do it, until you actually are out on that battlefield. And I feel like the first game, like, I mean, everybody's nervous. Like, I was nervous my first game, but it just, like, it's growing pains, you know. And I feel like he's growing faster than I would have guessed, honestly. Because, I mean, you saw the Minnesota game. He was hammering balls that game, and I don't know, it really showed his progression.